Record numbers of Latinos, young, Black, brown people have been propelled to act. And what we know is that this turnout wasn't by accident. It actually took decades of on-the-ground work by grassroots organizers, investment in directly impacted people.
For the first time in our country's history, Latinos had the opportunity to be the second largest voting bloc in America. People have been reductive about the Latino vote. It would really be a disservice to pretend like there wasn't real decisions and choices and experience that underpin even the idea of the Latino in America.
The complexity of being Latinx is immense. One of the things that has become very clear, particularly in the uprisings when we are calling for the defense of Black lives, is that there are a big and important part of our Latino community. There is a whole contingency of folks that have different political ideologies, and because all of us have different experiences. Some of us come from the dictatorships that have shaped our lives and have also shaped why we came into this country in the first place. Some of us understand what it's like to live under the threat of a government that is actively trying to kill and prosecute you.
And then there's also this other sort of assumption about age that I think is actually quite important, because the bulk of the Latino electorate that gets you to number 2 size voting bloc is actually about young people.
United We Dream Action have been able to mobilize 2 million low propensity Latino young people to cast their first vote across the country. And so we ran digital ads. We were able to touch 34 million people across the US. We made over 800,000 calls and sent over 3 million texts. We know that some of the top 5 issues that motivated Latinos was healthcare. We are also under the context of the COVID pandemic, where we've seen a generation of Latinos and Black folks, Indigenous folks killed in the hundreds of thousands by the injustices of our healthcare system. We know that the economy is, as part of that context, it was one of the motivating factors. You saw people come out for education. All of this is a picture that is framed by larger racial injustice, and of which immigration and the system in which it exists is a part of. We know that in the last 4 years, Donald Trump has made undocumented immigrants a bullseye of his target, where we've seen the forced hysterectomies of women, in particular Latina women, in detention centers. We have seen the family separation and kids in cages. We've seen our children killed at the hands of ICE and CBP. We do not live single-issued lives. Latinos are queer folks, Latinos are Black, Latinos are folks that are in the front lines of essential workers. The political strategy must match the complexity in which we're moving, which is why community organizing is so important.
You saw for the first time a very sophisticated democratic apparatus around trying to kind of make not just a kind of pan-Latino message, which is the way people usually do it, right? Republicans did something that they've really never done, which was make a serious effort to engage Latino voters. There was a massive misinformation campaign to Latino voters about who Joe Biden was, about who the Democratic Party is, about positions of the Democratic Party. And if that is going to be their tactic moving forward, that's something that needs to be examined.
And we created a program called the Reclaiming the Web, where communities of color, especially Latinos, folks, Spanish-speaking communities, were bombarded with the right information, and ensuring that we were with radio ads, with social media platforms, all of those places to ensure that we're reaching out to our own communities. We wanted to make sure that we were having clear conversations about what was happening, what was true, what isn't.
We don't have all the data back that we need. And I say that because I do think this election absolutely is going to need examination.